Take two! Hey friends, welcome back to my channel. My name is Amy and today I'm going to be talking about my TBR and some recommendations for the Smutnsmoochiesathon. If you don't know, I'm co-hosting a readathon called the Smutnsmoochiesathon. I did an announcement for this like last week or something. I will link it up above or here, wherever. So if you don't know what I'm talking about and you are interested in participating, I would highly suggest you check out that video first, because it will have all the prompts and all the information that you need. I will also put it down in the description below if you're too lazy to watch it, but if you want to watch the announcement you can do it here. But for this video I wanted to talk about my TBR for the readathon, and I wanted to give you guys some recommendations for all the prompts in case you need some help or some inspiration with picking out your books for this readathon if you are participating. So first off, we're gonna dive into my TBR and then I'm gonna talk about the recommendations. So I have 5 books on my TBR for this readathon, which is a lot for me because I have no idea if I'm gonna be able to read all 5 books within a week, but it's very ambitious, but I'm gonna give it a try. The first book I'll be reading will of course be the group book What I Like About You by Marisa Kanter. I'm so excited for this one. It's our book club pick for the month of May and we decided to make it our group book, and I'm just so excited to pick this one up. It's basically about a girl who runs a book blog. She knows this guy through this blog, but they've never met, and when she moves to another town she meets that guy, but he doesn't know it's her. The tagline also said, "Is it still a love triangle with only 2 people in it?" I'm so excited for this. I cannot wait for it to be May 20th. I want to read this. The next book on my TBR has not arrived yet because I haven't bought it yet. It's not out. Or is it out? I don't know. But the book depository said it would come out May 4th. And that's The Best Laid Plans by Cameron Lent. I was first going to read another book, but Sonia said she was reading this and I was like, oh, I want to read that too. So now we're buddy reading that one. Basically this is about a girl who is the last virgin in her friend group, and she decides that she wants to change that, and then she meets this college guy and she doesn't want to seem inexperienced to him, so she enlists the help of a guy friend to help her out in the department, and it sounds awesome. I cannot wait to read this. It sounds right up my alley and I'm so excited. I will be reading that one for the prompt yellow on the cover. Read a book with yellow on the cover. As you can see, the whole book is yellow, so that's not a problem. But yeah, I will be reading that one for the readathon. I'm so excited. Let it be May 20th already. For the prompt, read a book with a dress on the cover, I will be reading a book that has been around in the YA fantasy community for a while. I got surprised I'm not reading a contemporary for this prompt. 2 of my friends, Sonia and Renee, have been pushing me to read this because it's like one of their favorite romance fantasy books, and that's The Winner's Curse by Marisa Kanter. I don't know much about this book, to be honest, but I know it's about this girl who buys a slave and then falls in love with him. I know because Sonia and Renee told me this is very romance heavy, that I will probably like it. I trust their opinion, so I'm excited to pick this one up. It's not that big. I thought it would be bigger, but this is great, so I can definitely finish this one for the readathon. So super excited to get to this. So the next prompt is read a heated romance, and for this one I'm going to be reading Love Her or Lose Her by Tessa Bailey, which is the 2nd book in the Hot and Hammered series. I read Fixer Up last year, really enjoyed it, and I really want to read this one. If it doesn't work out for me to finish all 5 books, I can definitely double this up also for read a book with yellow on the cover. But this book is about a couple who's already married and they have some struggles in their marriage, so they're trying to figure out how to work this out. I read the Bromance Book Club, which was also about a couple who's already married, and I really liked that one. So I hope I will enjoy this one just the same, because I do like the whole already married kind of thing and see how they figured that out. So this is on my TBR for a heated romance. And the last book is Read a Diverse Book, and for this one I'll be reading Get a Life, Chloe Brown by Talia Hibbert. I've seen so much good things about this book. I really wanted to read it. It's a black main character who has a chronic illness. I'm not sure exactly what it is, but I'm sure I'll find out when I'm reading the book. But I'm just so excited for this. This is basically about a woman who is chronically ill, and she decides that she needs to jazz life up a little, so she makes this list called Get a Life, and she puts like all kinds of things to do on that list. I've been wanting to read a Talia Hibbert book for a while, and I think this is the perfect start. So that's my TBR, minus the book I still have to order. They're not that big, so I might be able to finish all 5 books, but who knows? I will do my best at least. My TBR, I'm excited. Next up, I wanted to talk about all the recommendations I want to give you for the prompts. Because sometimes you need a little help, you need a little inspiration to find a book that you want to read for a readathon. So I thought I would help you guys out and give you some inspiration and some recommendations. The way I'm gonna do this, I'm not gonna talk about what every book is about, because I have like 4 or 5 stacks here with books that I want to recommend you. So I'm just gonna hold it up, say for which prompt you can read it. We'll first be talking about the books that you can double up so you can use for multiple prompts. In case you don't want to read 5 books or 4 books, which is I totally get. I usually double up on prompts as well. So I'm gonna talk about those books first, and then I'm gonna talk about each individual prompt and which books I'll be recommending for that. Okay, so the first book I will be recommending you can basically read for every prompt. So if you read this book, you'll only have to read this one book and you'll have completed the readathon. So if you don't have a lot of time, or you're not such a fast reader, you can pick this one and it will be totally fine. You will have completed the readathon. And that book is Don't Date Rosa Santos by Nina Moreno. Of course, it has yellow on the cover, the girl's wearing a dress, a heated romance, and with that I mean it's set during the summer, and it's in the first read because the main character is Latina. So if you want to read only one book, I would highly suggest reading that one. I read it last year and I really enjoyed it. Okay, next up I have a little stack you can double up with books I physically own, and that first one is Fixer Up by Tessa Bailey. Like I said, I'm reading the second book in this series from the readathon, but this one you can double up for yellow on the cover, dress on the cover, and a heated romance. So you can basically read this book for 3 prompts if you want. I really like this one, but it's very smutty. It's an adult romance, so beware before you pick this up. If you don't like smut, don't read this one, but if you do, I would highly recommend this. Next up is The Paper and Heart Society by Lucy Powery. You can double this up for yellow on the cover and a diverse read because it has mental health rap and LGBTQ+ rap, and it's a YA contemporary. It reads a little bit younger than YA contemporary because the main character is 15, but if you're interested in this one, I would highly recommend it. And you can double this up for 2 prompts. Next on the list is When Dimple Met Rishi. You can use this one for 2 prompts as well. You can of course read it for the first book because the main character is Indian, but you can also read it for a book with a heated romance, in this case book set during the summer because they're at a summer tech camp kind of thing. So I would count this as heated romance. So if you want to read this one, you can double it up for 2 prompts. The next one is The Red and the Dawn by Renee Adia. You can also use this one for 2 prompts, diverse read and yellow on the cover. I mean, the yellow, you have to look a little bit. The yellow is there, so you can read this for yellow on the cover if you want. It's one of my favorites, so that's why I'm recommending it. And it's a fantasy book, so if you're not that into contemporary, you can read this fantasy one. Next up is The Friend Zone by Abby Jimenez. You can read this one for yellow on the cover and dress on the cover. This is also a new adult romance and it has a bit of smut in it, so if you don't like smut, then maybe don't read this, but if you do and you haven't read it yet, I would recommend it because it was a really good read for me. The next book you can double up is Save the Date by Morgan Matson. This of course has a dress on the cover. I know there's an alternative cover that also has a dress on it, but it looks differently. But you can also read this for heated romance because it's set during the summer. So if you want to read a cute YA contemporary by Morgan Matson, which is one of my favorite contemporary authors, I would highly recommend this. Okay, next I'm gonna recommend a few books that I don't own physically, but I have read as ebooks. The first one is Well Met by Chandler Lookout. You can read this one for a dress on the cover and a heated romance because it takes place during the summer at a Renaissance fair, which is really fun. Basically, you can read a bunch of Casey West books for this readathon because a lot of them have dresses on the cover and some of them are also set during summer. So you just have to find the right one and then you can double it up for 2 prompts. The next book is a fantasy one, and that is The Raven and the Dove by Caitlin Davis. You can read this one for 3 prompts. You can read it for yellow on the cover, dress on the cover, and you can read it for a diverse book because the main character is black. This is a super fun romance. If you love the Infernal Devices, you will probably like this one because the love interest reminded me a lot of Will Herringdale, and you know I love Will. He has a special place in my heart. So I would highly recommend reading this one if you haven't already, and you can double it up for 3 prompts. And the last one I'm gonna recommend is The Bells by Donielle Clayton. I know there's not a full dress on the cover, but you can definitely tell the girl's wearing a dress, so you can read it for the prompt with a dress on the cover, but you can also read it for diverse read. That's all the books you can double up. Let's get into the books for each individual prompt. I'm gonna start off with the prompt yellow on the cover. The first one you can read for this is of course the group book, What I Like About You. The girl's wearing a yellow sweater. So you can basically double this up for group book and yellow on the cover. The next one is, I I Tell You I Love You But Then I'd Have to Kill You by Ellie Carter. This is the first book in the Gallagher Girls series. It has a lot of yellow on the cover. The next one I'm recommending is The Bookish Life of Nina Hale. This was one of my favorite books of last year. I love this one so much. It is an adult contemporary, so if you don't like that, maybe don't read this, but if you do like adult contemporaries, then I would highly recommend this one. Please read it, please. I'm begging you. And another book you might not have thought about, Sight by Neil Schusterman. This definitely has a bunch of yellow on the cover, so you can definitely read this one for the prompt yellow on the cover if you want to. Another book with yellow on the cover is The Unhoneymooners by Christina Lauren. I thought this one was really cute. It's an adult romance. I think it's an adult romance. It's not that smutty, so if you don't like the smut but you do like romance, you can definitely read that one. Okay, it depends on the cover, but you can also read Strange the Dreamer. Like, this cover has a bunch of yellow on it, so you can read that one. But if you have the other cover, I'll still count it. I mean, we know the other cover has yellow on it, so if you want to read that one, be my guest. Those are pretty much all the recommendations I have for the prompt yellow. I'm just looking at my stacks. Like, there are 4 stacks right here. I just found 2 other books that have yellow on them. Queens of Geek has a little bit of yellow, but I would count it. And Geekarella, maybe it's more orange, but I will also count it for yellow. And now that I'm recommending these anyway, you can also read this one for a book with a dress on the cover. And you can read this one for a diverse read because it has a bunch of LGBTQ+ rap. Recommendations for read a book with a dress on the cover. The first one is Operation Prom Date by Cindy Matson. This is a super short contemporary, like it's so short. It's really cute, it's really fluffy. It's basically about a girl who enlists the help of a guy friend to like get her crush to notice her, and it's super fun. And you will fly through this. The next one is, I have the Dutch copy, but it's Ruby Red by Kathleen Geer. This one has a dress on the cover, but I know there are also a bunch of other covers in which there are also dresses on the cover, so it doesn't really matter which cover you pick for this one, it has a dress on the cover. So this is like urban fantasy, and it has time travel. If you haven't read this yet, I highly recommend it. Next up, if you liked Geekarella and you haven't read The Princess and the Fangirl yet, you can read this one because it has a dress on the cover. I think I like this even more than Geekarella, so I would highly recommend reading this if you haven't already. And the third one for this series is coming out in June, so you might get a head start and read this during May. Next up is The Selection by Kira Cass. I know most people have read this already, but Netflix just announced it's making it a TV show, so if maybe you're in the mood for rereading it, you can pick this one up and participate in the Smutnsmoochiesathon with us and read The Selection for the prompt with a dress on the cover. If you haven't caught up on Cassandra Clare books yet, you can read Chain of Gold during the readathon because it has a dress on the cover. Oh my god. And you can also count this as yellow even though it's more gold, but I wouldn't be too mad about it if you count it as yellow. I know it's a chunky one, so if you're a fast reader, you might be able to get through this. It took me a week to get through, so I would definitely not be reading this for a readathon, but who knows, maybe you can. And the last physical book I'll be recommending is The 7 Husbands of Evelyn Hugo by Taylor Jenkins Reid. This, of course, has a dress on the cover, and now that I'm thinking about it, you can also read this for diverse read because LGBTQ+ rap. A few other books with dresses on the cover you could pick up are Always Never Yours by Emily Wibberley and Austin Sigmund Broca. I think that's his name. It has a dress on the cover. I thought it was really cute, so you can definitely read that one. Another book is Starcrossed by Josephine Angelini. This is about demigods. I know it's quite an older book, but I really enjoyed this one. The Worst Best Man by Mia Sosa. We read this one for book club in February. Really like this one. It has a dress on the cover. They're Strictly Friends by Chloe Lisa. This one has a dress on the cover, you can read it for that. Another book you can read is Fake It Till You Break It by Jen P. Gwen. Moving on to book with a heated romance. So like I said in the announcement video, you can interpret this in many ways. You can of course pick a really smutty and steamy book, which we're totally fine with, like I'm reading one. But you can also pick a book that's set during the summer or set in a hot place. There are multiple options for this one, so I'm just gonna recommend a bunch of them. Like, one of them you could read is A Court of Thorns and Roses. Maybe you haven't read this yet, or maybe you want to reread, so you can read that one for this prompt. One of my favorites is Addicted to You by Kristen Becker-Ritchie, which is very smutty, so if you don't like that, don't read this, but if you haven't read this yet, I would highly recommend it. Another book you can read for this prompt is Rebel of the Sands by Elvin Hamilton. This is set in the desert, so it's like a hot place, so I'm counting it for that one. Same with The Forbidden Witch by Jessica Curry, also set in a desert, so you can totally read that one for like heat romance, like romance set in a hot place, whatever. You can also read all of Morgan Maston's books. I know Save the Date, I already mentioned that one, but you can also read all of her other books because they're all set during the summer. They're all great, they're all YA contemporary. I love them all. Another one you can read is The Summer I Turned Pretty. This is the omnibus, but you can read this one because it's set during the summer, obviously. I already mentioned you can read a bunch of Casey West books for this prompt. You can also read Stay Sweet by Siobhan Vivian. This is about a girl who works at an ice cream shop during the summer. I mean, I also have a Only Mostly Devastated on this, but I haven't read it yet, but you can read that one. What If It's Us by Becky Albertalli and Adam Sevilla. I haven't read that one, but it's set during the summer, so you could also read that one. Moving on to read a diverse book. I already mentioned a couple you can read with like doubling up prompts, or you can just read them for this prompt if you like. But one of them is Cinderella by Kelly Oram. This book has a Latina main character. Another one is With the Fire on High by Elizabeth Acevedo. This one has an Afro-Latina main character. And you can read Heartstopper, which is a boy-boy romance. Like I said, I already mentioned a bunch of books for this prompt that you can use for other prompts as well. I think the first book is like the least difficult prompt to find a book for. But that's basically all the recommendations I have for you today. I really hope you're participating in the Smutnsmoochiesathon. Please let me know your TBR if you're participating. Use the hashtag. Post a video, post it on Instagram. Just let us know if you're joining all the fun. The Smutnsmoochiesathon runs from May 20th till May 27th. I'm super excited about it and I can't wait to read my TBR. I will definitely be vlogging that week, so you will definitely see a week-long reading vlog for me for that readathon. Thank you guys so much for watching. All the social media will be down in the description below, as well as all the information for this readathon. And I will see you in my next video. Bye!